Good morning, everybody. We're going to be giving it a few minutes for everyone to join, and then we will start. Good morning, everyone. We're happy to have you join us for an exciting session on our digital solutions for dental practices, which is really underpinned by our HealthID platform. My name is Ahmed Saleh, and I'm a manager in the healthcare professional field force team. Today, I'm joined by my colleagues who will guide us through a walkthrough of the functionalities on HealthID with a focus on how it enhances operational efficiency and patient experience in dental practices. Before we begin, just to share a few quick house rules. During the session, please feel free to post any questions or comments in the Q&A section. We do encourage active participation. You'll see it at the bottom of your screen, and we'll do our very best to answer all questions while keeping to the allocated time. We'll also have a short poll at the end of the session to help us gather your feedback and understand your support needs, so please do complete it at the end of the session. Today, what we're going to be talking to you about is the evolution of HealthID. What we really want to do is to take you through why and how we've designed and refined this HealthID tool to meet the needs of various medical practices. We'll also speak to you about the key data that tells us about key inefficiencies as well as how digital solutions solve them. And then we'll also take you through a real-time walkthrough of how HealthID works, so how it can help you to empower your dental practice. And then lastly, we'll end off with a Q&A session and then close for this morning. So I'm going to start off with the evolution of HealthID for you. Since its launch in 2012, HealthID has continuously evolved to support healthcare professionals by providing seamless access to patient health information. In 2019, we introduced virtual consultations, which really became invaluable during the pandemic. And then also in 2021, radiology practices benefited from the introduction of the virtual quote functionality. It helped them to reduce their call volumes as well as increase operational efficiencies at their practices. To date, and we've seen a great reduction, and most of them do it online going forward, so we haven't received calls from the radiology practices, which has definitely saved them time and money. And today we bring the same digital advantage to dental practices. We want to enable this real-time benefit confirmation, which then also helps to reduce administrative burdens. In terms of our HealthID platform, we do rely on various data sources, from patient demographics to claims data to risk intelligent models that help us to then bring it all together to offer advanced features like our electronic health record, our chronic illness benefit applications, as well as newly added our hospital at home. We also have third-party providers that we've integrated, such as RecoMed and SilverCloud, that further enrich this digital ecosystem. So we are committed to create this digital healthcare ecosystem through our shared value models that we apply.
Apologies there, Ahmed. Sorry to interrupt, but your sound does sound a bit low. It seems the audience cannot hear you. Apologies for that.
Okay. Can you guys hear me now?
Much better. Thank you so much, Ahmed.
Perfect. Thank you for that. Apologies. So just maybe to go back and talk to what we've done in 2019, we introduced the virtual consultations, which really then helped us to enable benefits for our members. In 2021, radiology practices were introduced to the virtual quote functionality. It helped them to reduce their call volumes and then also improve operational efficiencies. To tell you a story, I actually went and seen this or felt this myself as a member walking into a radiology practice. And as I walked in and confirmed that I'm here for a scan, they were able to quickly identify the details and see what available limits and information I have on system. So really works for them, and they've really adopted it on their side. As I've said today, what we want to do is give the same digital advantage to our dental practices to enable this real-time benefit confirmation. Okay. In terms of our goals, it's very simple for dental practices. We want to enable dental professionals to access patient information in real time. We want to make sure we can help reduce time-consuming calls and emails for benefit confirmations. And then we also want to make sure that we can improve billing accuracy, cash flow, and patient transparency for our dental practices. Discovery Health achieves these efficiencies through modern administrative tools. And by analyzing the calls and email data from our dental practices, we did pick up key operational challenges. The first one being that average interaction for benefit confirmations took over 7 minutes per call. What we've also identified was that the three main drivers were checking of funds, benefit confirmations, as well as claim reviews. So by looking at these drivers, we were able to explore opportunities and then develop the tool to be tailored to dental practices. So we can now digitize these interactions through HealthID virtual quote tool that helps us to then showcase and see that a reduction of at least 4 minutes per interaction on these benefit confirmations, which helps to then free up valuable time for patient care. So I'd like to talk to you about the 4 tools that are interlinked that will help you, or the 4 functionality on the HealthID tool that will help you in your practice. The first one being the member validation tool. It instantly confirms membership status, plan type, as well as dependence on the medical aid. We also have the fund checker here, which also is a real-time benefit confirmation of when the patient is consulting you. You can check funds. It's within 30 seconds. And I know some of you are quite fast, so it could be even less than that. In terms of the next tool, we also have a waiting period indicator, especially for new patients coming or joining the scheme. It's important that you have sight of it. The waiting period indicator quickly identifies this for you while the patient is in front of you before they can even sit down to wait for their consultation with the dentist. And then finally, we also have the virtual quote tool, which then generates detailed benefit confirmations for dental procedures, ensuring the patient fully understands their cover before they're being treated. And then it also gets sent to them so they can read through it and understand how they are covered. So what are the key benefits that we identified for dental practices? It's a reduction in time and money spent on administrative calls and emails. It's a reduction in bad debt due to the real-time benefit confirmations before treatment, so patients can see exactly, and you can see exactly what needs to be covered, that's not going to be covered, and you can retrieve it from the patient right there and then. Then there's also the increased staff productivity by minimizing time spent with the scheme and rather focused on practice operations on your side. And then lastly, it also improves the patient experience. We've seen patients enjoying these digital experiences. Here they get the opportunity to receive a digital quote, which then also ensures transparency in their cover. All of this at your own convenience. It's available 24/7 for practices to utilize. What I'd like to do is hand over to Ignatius, who's our account manager, who will take you through a real-time view of what we've just discussed to showcase how simple and fast this tool is for your practice needs. Over to you, Ignatius.
Thank you so much, Ahmed. Thank you once again for re-emphasizing the importance of us enhancing service delivery tools for our dental practices. So as mentioned, my name is Ignatius Mhlanga, and I will be taking you through a simple step in terms of how to confirm benefits for our patients, as well as HealthID itself in terms of what other tools are available for the practice that they can use to further enhance the experience for our patients. So if I would like to invite everybody that does have access to a computer currently, if you are able to log in onto our Discovery website, as well as navigate through to HealthID so that we can walk through this journey together, which is quite exciting, and it aims to improve efficiencies within your practice. Thank you once again. I'll give it a minute for everybody that has access to log in. Thank you. I believe we're in the same page with those that have logged in. So once you've logged in onto the website and navigated through to the Health ID screen, this will be your landing page, which will give you access to different tools within that you can use within the practice. But what we're focusing on specifically today is the practice tools, which are represented by this briefcase right at the top here. So once you click on that, it will present you with a list of tools that you can access within the platform, but specifically where I would advise everybody to click is under the dashboard, which then further expands on these specific tools that we have. So we will firstly start with the validate member option, which is a three step, which is quite simple. Takes you about 30 seconds to complete the task at hand. So once you click on the search patient option under the validate member tool, it will provide you a screen where you are able to then type in the patient's details. So on here, you are able to search using the patient's ID number as well as their membership number, therefore being able to select a specific patient that you are validating and confirming funds for. You'd note on the screen, it has provided us with an option to choose a specific patient that we are confirming benefits for. Then it does have this additional tick box right at the bottom, which allows you to simultaneously check funds and as well as waiting periods for a patient within 30 seconds. Quite a straightforward process. So once you've clicked on this, you choose the specific patient as well as tick that little box at the bottom, which then moves you over to the next screen. The next screen itself will still present you with details that you have requested for, which is the specific patient within that medical aid or within that policy. Then you have also ticked the check funds and waiting periods screen, which pops up a little bit of a disclaimer here, which basically stipulates how a patient is covered for the service being requested. Given you are practicing from multiple practices, or rather you've got multiple practices linked under your profile, it will give you an option to drop down and choose that specific provider. Secondary to that, it will also provide you with an option to type in the specific amount that you're looking for, as well as indicate the date of service that you are requesting the funds for. Right at the bottom, you see it does provide us with an option to then validate the patient. It will then move over to the next screen for us, which will then provide you with further information from what you've requested for. So once it has presented the specific screen, it will still give you a summary of which patient you've requested the funds for. It will also give you the scheme information, which is specific to the member's medical aid, the plan type that they are on, as well as the plan duration confirming that it is active or not. Right at the bottom here, you also see it does provide us with a few disclaimers. So both these disclaimers do confirm what you were looking for. Given the patient does have the sufficient funds that you are requesting for, it will indicate it for you. Given that there are no waiting periods that are active or there are active waiting periods, it will also confirm it for you within the specific disclaimer. You are also presented with a couple of options at the bottom as well, which will allow you to either request a virtual code directly from here or repeat the very same step, which is to check another patient. Or alternatively, if that is not required, then you are then able to close the rather the confirmation of what you were looking for. Further to this, it does further expand on the disclaimers, which confirm, as previously mentioned, that if there are any active rating periods or patient doesn't have any active rating periods, it'll indicate it for you. Therefore, allowing you to make a decision as quick as possible within 30 seconds in terms of the patient's funding. As mentioned, once you're done, you can click on the done button. I would then love to now take you through a more comprehensive as well as extensive virtual codes, which basically allows you to confirm specific codes and tooth numbers that you might be requesting for a patient. So on this very same screen, you will be provided again with an option to search for a patient using either the ID number or their membership number. Right again, you will note it will provide you with an option to choose a billing practice. So this is then applicable to staff members that have got multiple practices that are linked to them. Secondary to that, it does also provide you with an option to choose a specific treating provider within that practice. Further to that, it does also provide you an option to enter a referral given one was in place. Then again, it will also provide you with an option to choose the specific place of service for that specific patient. So as presented, you would note it as search for the member. It has selected the specific billing information as well as treating information and the place of service applicable for that patient. Once you've clicked on this, quite important, you'd note that the request virtual code button will be blued out, which indicates that you can move forward. If there is anything, if there is any information that has been omitted or that hasn't been included, this will be grayed out, which then prompts you to go back and then reassess what information might have been missed from there. So once you completed all the necessary steps within the screen, you then click continue virtual code, which then moves you over to the second screen. Within the second screen itself, you'd note it does provide us with an option to type in the ICD-10 code that we are requesting for the patient. Secondary to that, it does also provide you with a secondary tab, given that there's multiple ICD-10 codes that are required for that specific patient. Then you would note it does provide you an option to type in the procedure code that you're looking for that specific patient. Once you've typed in the procedure code for the patient, you will also note that it does provide you with an option to select a tooth number, given that specific code requires a tooth number to accompany. Apologies about that. So once you've clicked on that, it does allow you to then enter the relevant details for the patient. So you see it does note here that it indicates the days of therapy. This indicates whether the patient is doing this on a singular day or multiple days. Again, it will allow you to type in the specific amount that you're requesting for. Quite important for us to note here that we do have practices that do align to the scheme rate. We do also have practices that charge above the scheme rate. Therefore, this wouldn't automatically pop up the scheme rate because we do allow practices to bill as they have requested. However, on the third screen, once you've done the virtual code, it will still indicate for you the specific scheme rate for that patient. You can add as many lines as you do wish to for that specific patient as noted here. So once you've completed all the information within the previous line, you will see an option to add an additional line. Quite important for us to note as well, information that is important, which needs to be completed within a specific line, is highlighted by these red asterisks, meaning that those specific tabs cannot be left empty. Once you've completed the lines, you will see that it does allow you to request a virtual code, which will then move you over to the last screen. On this last screen, it will give you a summary of what you've requested for. So still highlighting that specific patient that you're requesting funds for, still highlighting the billing information, the billing practice, as well as the specific treating provider within that practice. Important to note, it might not have the reference number on here. However, on the actual virtual code, once you've requested for it, it'll indicate it for you. Further to that, it does provide you a summary list of the specific codes that you've requested for, highlighting their amounts, the treating codes, as well as how the claim would be funding. Either it is funding to the practice if it is billed at the correct or scheme rate. If there is any billing that is above the scheme rate, it would also indicate for you what is the patient liable for. Therefore, this assists you prior to the patient going in for the service to know how they fund it for, and if there are any shortfalls or any co-payments applicable, the patient will know up ahead, and they will then need to tender in that specific amount to the practice. Right at the bottom, it will also give you a few disclaimers here. So it will indicate how the patient will be funded for and where is the claim funding for. For this specific example, we've seen that the patient's claim would be funded from the World Fund. Further to that, it does further stipulate the disclaimer as to that funds are not reserved when confirming funds for a patient. Patients might have done different rounds prior to going to the dentist. They might have stopped by a chemist. They might have stopped by a GP or any other service provider. So quite important to re-emphasize this to the patient to state that funds are confirmed as per what is available at that specific time. Given another provider submits a claim prior to your practice submitting a claim, funds might be different. Then quite important for the patient to know that if there are any shortfalls that do occur, then they will be liable for that. Further to that, you would note that it does provide you with an option to download the virtual quote, which I find very interesting, and it does add value to the practice in a few instances. This you can download and then share with the patient prior to the service being provided, therefore knowing how they are covered for that specific service. Number two, you would save this and put it within the patient's file for liability purposes. Number three, it just gives the practice the sense of comfort knowing how the patient is catered for the specific services. Once you're done with this, you do have an option to then click done so that you can go back to the landing page. As stipulated again, it does highlight for you where the claim is funding from and how it is funded for. Once you've done, then you click on done, which then takes us back to the landing page for the different tools. Great. So you'll see that you've got an option to request for another virtual code. But beautiful thing is, for practices, we have enhanced this tool to ensure that you still have a historic view for virtual codes that might have been requested for previously. Given that you need to reference anything that was done prior, you still have that option to go back and then reconfirm what has been confirmed. So you click on the History tab. Once you've clicked on the History tab, you will be presented with the specific screen, which obviously does indicate that's a virtual code history. It still allows you to search for the specific patient that you want to retrieve the previous code that was submitted using the ID number as well as the membership number. Beautiful thing also, it does provide you with an option to filter specifically to a time frame. So it could be a month, it could be 3 months, it could be 12 months, as well as 24 months. It then will give you a summary of what that patient had requested for previously, similar to what we were shown within the actual virtual codes. You will see right to the right side of your screen, it does give you an option to view or download the virtual codes. So once you click on that specific screen, it will then present the virtual code that you're looking for. Once again, once you've clicked on this, it'll give you a summary of the virtual code in a PDF form. Once again, you are welcome to print this. You are welcome to send it to the member or just keep it for your record purposes. Once again, thank you for everybody for joining us today through this walkthrough. We will be ensuring that we provide you with necessary tools such as supporting materials, videos, as well as guides that will help you navigate the system again. So once you are done, you do have the ability to go back to the landing page where you will be able to view other tools that are necessary to enhance your experience as a practice. You just need to click on the Discovery logo, which will take you through the specific screen. One important thing to re-emphasize on is with the virtual code itself, it takes approximately 30 seconds for you to be able to complete, which then saves you time instead of calling through to basically confirm what you need to confirm. Secondary to that, the virtual quote itself will take you approximately 4 minutes, which is quite important, alluding to what Ahmed had mentioned previously, that roughly a call takes about 7 minutes for a practice to confirm benefits, which will then shave off roughly 3 minutes, which you can then reinvest that specific time to ensuring that you liaise with your patient or you enhance the experience with your patient. Over and above this, it is quite important that we align our practices to use these tools to ensure that you are future-proofing your practice in an era where AI as well as digital-driven healthcare solutions are a norm. Once again, thank you so much for staying with us. We know it's been a mouthful that we've mentioned. However, we will still provide you with necessary tools to ensure your experience is seamless. I'll now move over to the next speaker. Thank you.
Thank you, Ignatius, for the walkthrough on the dental functionality. Just a quick sound check. I seem to see that we've been struggling a little bit with sound. A few people have mentioned that in the chat, and a few of you have confirmed that you had no audio before. What we will do is if you can share your details with us, we'll then reach out to you to have a discussion around this after the session. But thank you for sharing that comments with us. I want to say that this, if you've looked at it, it's quick, simple, and effective, and I hope you felt the same way on your side. If you looked at the functionality, you saw that the member validation, the fund check, and the waiting period, we enhance it into one journey. So that even speeds up that process, and I hope you saw that on your side as well. To summarize, we've launched this virtual quote for dental practices at the start of this year. It's exclusively for Discovery Health medical scheme at this stage. However, future enhancements will expand the functionality to include all in-house schemes that we administer. But what are the next steps for you and your practice? Do want to let you know that our call center staff will start encouraging your practices to use the dental tools for faster benefit confirmations. It does help with facilitating a smooth transition and adoption of this digital functionality. What Ignatius alluded to is also the fact that we will be including video tutorials to really help empower your practice in using this functionality. We'll make sure that we get this shared with you after the session. So for all of you that have joined, if you've registered with your email address, we'll definitely get that shared with you. If you haven't, please pop your email address in the Q&A session, and we'll definitely be able to assist you with that. What I do want to do quickly is just look at the registration process on HealthID. So as a practitioner or a staff member that already has existing credentials on our website, www.discovery.co.za, please can you access that once? It will then allow you to have access to the functionality. However, for any new persons that needs to register, you'll see on the top right-hand side there, it says register. Please follow the prompts to verify your identity. It will help you to create a username and password. And then when you accept the terms and conditions, you'll be able to access the landing page on the website. So that you will see populate now in front of you. If you click on Health ID and New Health ID, you'll be able to access the dental features for your practice. What we do note is some practice managers or staff members might not see the practice details that you work at on your landing page. Please submit a user access form to Discovery so that we can link you to the dental practices that you are part of. This will also then grant you access to the dental practice features. Now, with all of that, there's a lot we've spoken about. What we'll do is send it in an email to you after the session. We'll include the link to get you directly into Health ID for you. We'll send you the videos, and then we'll also send you the user access form so that if you do need it, you can complete it and share it with us. What I can say finally on my side is that I've noted dental practices have already begun using the platform, and the positive sentiment we have received really reinforces its value in streamlining the operations at dental practices. So this success has definitely paved the way for broader rollout of dental to the dental practices. So as we continue enhancing the services that we offer, please, I encourage all of you to take full advantage of this functionality to really then optimize your practice efficiency and patient experience. I'm going to hand over now to Alicia Pillay, who will then take us through a Q&A session and the final poll. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ahmed, and well done to Ignatius and Ahmed for taking us through this amazing tool. Really excited to see it being implemented in the practices. Okay, so I will be taking you through the Q&A section. The first question we have, and Christopher, I'll direct it to you, is on the virtual code. I don't see the option of download code. I only have the print and back option. Christopher, would you like to address that?
Yeah, thank you so much, Alicia. Good morning, everybody. So with regards to the downloading of the quote, once you finish down the quote, as Iggy said, you know, when you finish putting the all the codes and ICD-10 codes and stuff, and you then generate the quote, on the top right-hand corner, it will show two things. It will either show done and it will show download. So you would then download it on the quote. That would automatically then go into your field of choice, whether it be my documents, my downloads, and the quote will then be directed to your system or your folder on your PC, where you can then get the downloaded quote. But there is an option for download. You just need to see once the quote is finished generated, on the top right-hand corner, it will say download.
Perfect. Thank you, Christopher. And just staying with you for a moment, Christopher, we have another question with regards to in-house schemes. So is this going to be available to all schemes, meaning the dental quotation tool?
Yeah, thank you so much, Ellie. So, as Ahmed mentioned earlier, for now it is part of the Discovery Health, so it forms part of Discovery Health members, but we are looking into in-house schemes in the future. But for now, it is part of Discovery Health members only.
Perfect. Thank you, Christopher. Charles, I'll direct the next question to you. Will the call center be closed down, and will the HealthID be the only way to confirm benefits?
Fantastic. Thank you so much for that question, Ellie. So as it is at the moment, the HealthID will provide the functionalities to get a quotation and fund checking. Any other functions that are not available in HealthID, the call center will be available for you to be able to utilize. But you are correct in saying that going forward, we would really, really recommend that you use HealthID for your benefit confirmation and quotations.
Perfect. Thank you for that, Charles. Another question, and Ahmed, I'll direct this question for you. Can I do multiple quotations on the dental tool?
Perfect. I think that could be in twofold. So yes, firstly, if it's for the same day, multiple quotations, you definitely can do it, or multiple codes, you can do it on your side. What's nice about this here is if you note that one of the three identifiers were claims in question, and sometimes we pay claims to members essentially. Here, this opportunity is you can actually link your virtual quote. If you submit it, it submits to the real system to give you a view of what would happen at that time. So what's great about that is that you're allowed to see that and then make amendments as you need to from a claim perspective to then submit your claim specifically so that it pays directly through to you if you want to adjust. And then the second thing around that is if it's spanned over a period of time, so multiple procedures over multiple days, from a planned dental treatment plan perspective, you do need to do so. What you do currently with the call center is where you'll need to split it up. So if you need to confirm for today, you'll confirm the piece for today, and then so on and so on. It is, as Ignatius mentioned, the disclaimer is that it is a first come, first service basis from a claims perspective. So we don't reserve funds per se, but we do give you accurate confirmation. One more important thing about that, Ellie, as it's just dawned on me, is that the frequency limits are also embedded into this. So that's where you're able to see frequency limits, if there's anything applied or has been used by previous practices or other practices which you can't get access to when you call our call center today. They can't look at other practice claims. In this case, you can actually do it and the system generates it, and it will tell you if a frequency limit has been used up. So that's a nice thing. That's an added functionality that gives you that insight that you do need to ensure you make an informed decision about that patient's treatment or consultation for that day. While I have the mic, if you don't mind, I do see that there's someone struggling with that. I will ask if that person, Mr. Desai or Mrs. Desai, to please share with us your practice details so that we can engage with you directly. Thank you, Ellie.
Perfect. Thank you, Ahmed. Before I go to the next question, I do also see some comments in terms of errors that are being received. Can I urge you to please share your details, as the comments are coming through as anonymous for some. So if you can please share your details, our team will definitely reach out and be able to assist you. Okay, so the next question, and Christopher, I'm going to direct this question to you. Good day. There are some plans whereby we have co-payments. Will we be able to get that information from HealthID, or will we need to still call for that information? Christopher?
Thank you, Ellie. So with regards to that, you have two options. You have the checking of the funds, which will advise you what is, if you do a benefit confirmation, then you have the virtual quote. And when you do a virtual quote, on the quote, it will tell you if the member is in a self-payment gap, or it will generate the amount next to each code. Below the codes and rates, you'll see there is a description column for all the reason codes where it will advise if the member is in a self-payment gap or where it's paying from. If you look on the quote itself, when it's generated, it will show you as well where it is paying from. Is it paying from the medical savings account or the above threshold benefit?
Perfect. Thank you, Christopher. Charles, I'll direct the next question to you. Is this available for all Discovery Health schemes, including those Discovery schemes that are not administered with Discovery, for example, Discovery Key Care or FlexiCare, which is administered by DRC?
Thank you so much for that question, Ellie. So the functionality on HealthID are currently available to all Discovery Health medical scheme plans. Just bear in mind that with regards to FlexiCare, that is not a medical aid. So unfortunately, you will not be able to do the virtual code for FlexiCare patient, but all other Discovery Health medical scheme plans you should be able to.
Perfect. Thank you. Ahmed, coming back to you, I have a few questions coming your way. How do I check the threshold benefit and self-payment gap?
Perfect. Thank you, Ellie. In terms of the threshold benefit and self-payment gap, you won't really be able to see it on your side, but there's two options. With the fund checker, you can immediately say, I need X amount here, and the system will then check if the patient has firstly the funds available, is in their self-payment gap or in their above threshold benefit. It won't tell you that, but it will tell you that the patient does have funds available for the requested amount, which Ignatius showed. So that gives you the confirmation that there's funds at that time of that specific quote. There's another way to do it is also the virtual quote. So if you have a few codes and you want to check, it will then tell you if it's paying to you or if it's rejecting with a specific reason code. So you'll actually see the reason code and it will tell you if the patient's benefits is depleted, or this will be funded from the patient's above threshold benefit if submitted. So there's two options you have when doing that.
Thank you, Ahmed. The next question is, and Ahmed directed at you again, when adding a price that is higher than the Discovery tariff, will Discovery pay the funds over to the practice or to the member? Has some codes do have a price attached to it, so meaning a Discovery Health rate, for example?
Perfect. That's a great question. Actually, this helps to really streamline your operations if you want to reduce that impact, which we've also seen, and that's why I say it is part of a claims issue that we've picked up, where you have to then check where this has been paid and then obviously get it from the patient. When you do the virtual quote, it will then tell you where we're going to pay that from. It doesn't submit it, but it actually mimics the real life system. So you'll be able to see if it's going to pay to you or pay to member. And if it does show paid to member, you will then be able to see if you want to adjust some of your rates to then have it paid to you, or alternatively, if it's already paying to you, then at least you have that surety that if you submit your claim and there is that funds available at the time you submit, that it will be funded to you.
Perfect. Thank you, Ahmed. Before we go to the next question, just a reminder that I do see some people eagerly trying to do quotations and really excited by you following along. If you are experiencing any errors, again, please drop us your details so that we can reach out. Charles, I'll direct this next question to you. For smart plans, will we be able to check on HealthID if the patient still has one dental checkup available and also the co-payment?
Fantastic. Thank you so much for that question, Ellie. So yes, correct. So the tool itself is designed so that it confirms the patient's benefit in real time. So as and when you do the virtual code or you're validating the member's benefit, it will give you what the benefits are at that point in time. Hope that answered the question.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. And then Christopher, last question before we wrap up. Will we still be able to validate memberships of patients on FlexiCare on the HealthID? I do understand that they won't be able to generate codes, but will the validation still be able to be done?
That is correct. Validations can still be done. And it will tell you if the member is available or is active or has resigned. It will show that, yes.
Okay, noted on that. Thank you so much, team, for answering the questions. I do want to give our attendees an opportunity to complete the poll. So, Andres, I'm going to ask you to please bring up the poll. We would really appreciate you taking a moment to complete the questions. We value your feedback and engagement. So I'm going to give you about 2 minutes to complete the poll. going to give it a few more minutes to complete the poll before we wrap up. Thank you everyone for joining us today. We know that digital transformation is the key to future-proofing healthcare practices, and we're excited to be on this journey with you. Thank you for everyone that has left their details. We will definitely be able to reach out to you, and we look forward to seeing you implement these tools on your practice. Have a great day and a great weekend further. Thank you.